Hey everyone, this is a bonus Q&A episode. I try and answer questions live every Thursday. You can sign up to come to my free live Q&A at schoolforthedogs.com/Q&A, and you will see the next one I'm doing. I then am trying to take recordings of those Q&As and post them here to the podcast feed. If you have a question, you can email me directly, Annie at School for the Dogs. You can also go to anchor.fm/dogs and record your question there. Thanks for being here. Today, I actually want to answer a question that came to me from my husband. As I mentioned on the podcast last week, we have a brand new puppy. Her name is Poppy. And it's been a lot of fun. She's really a wonderful girl. And my husband and I were talking, and he said, what has changed for you? Or, I guess he said, what do you think has changed in the world of dog training since you last had a puppy, which was in 2005, when I first got my dear dog, Amos. And, it's a big question to answer for me because I really knew nothing about dog training when I got him and really didn't get into it until he was about 5 years old. So for me, so much has changed in the world of dog training and pet care. I think a lot has changed too. I think for the better. So he asked me this question, and I felt like, God, there's only almost too much there for me to answer in any kind of concise way. But I thought, there's definitely one thing that I had no idea about when I first got Amos, and that I think probably a lot of dog owners still don't know about. And this is a certain kind of product that I think can make such a huge difference in any training, but particularly when you're working with a puppy. And this is a product under the category heading Lickable treats. I'm not sure the word lickable is actually a word because I feel like whenever I type it, it gets a red squiggly line under it. But that's what I call these kinds of treats. Treats that can be licked, consumed with the tongue. So I just thought I would talk about some of my favorite lickable treats. Although first, perhaps I should say why I think these are so valuable to us when we're working with dogs. First of all, as a dog trainer, I feel like I constantly have crumbs in my pocket. I feel like it's one of the downsides of the trade is that my hands are always kind of gross. And so it's really nice to give a dog something that is in a tube where you never actually have to handle, lamb lung, turkey hearts, lots of things that are, frankly, kind of gross. These lickable treats make that easier to not actually have to physically handle this stuff. Also, licking is very soothing for dogs. That is certainly a bonus. And there are lots of situations where you want your dog to not waste a lot of time chewing and swallowing things. You just want them to kind of enjoy something and keep going. So that's one nice thing about using these kinds of treats. You can use them when you're walking. Great for outdoor work. Great for walking because, you don't have to wear a treat pouch. You don't have to stop and hand something crumbly to your dog and wait for your dog to chew it and swallow it. You can just present one of these lickable, yummy things at your knee or wherever, and they lick it and move on. So I'm going to start with the very first type of liquid treat dispenser that I discovered, which we now sell at School for the Dogs. And I'll tell you the little funny story about these. This is, we call it the liquid treat dispenser. For those of you who are not watching but are listening, how would I describe it? It's like a little silicone. It kind of looks like a travel shampoo bottle, like a squat little travel shampoo bottle, almost like a really big Hershey Kiss in shape, with a top that opens and closes. So I first discovered these at Duane Reade, which is a drugstore chain in New York City. There used to be one on my corner, and they were selling them as salad dressing transport containers, I guess, which I just thought was so funny because I'm just the kind of person that would never think to transport salad dressing anywhere. So the fact that there was a product devoted to transporting salad dressing really made me giggle. But the second I saw it, I thought, you know what? I have an idea of what I could do with these. And I'd seen tube type dispensers that were sold. I think there's a company called Paw Tube that makes silicone tube dispensers for that you can put stuff in for dogs. But the reason that I actually liked this salad dressing transporter container thing, but a little bit better, was it's just open at the top. It doesn't have any little flappy things, which some tube dispensers have. I don't know what you call those, sort of little plastic pedals at the top that when you push something through it can make a little pop of air that I think can bother a dog. This is just a hole at the top, and it fits really nicely in your hand. Anyway, I was teaching a class. This was in the origin story of School for the Dogs. There was a year where we were teaching out of a dog daycare because our initial studio, which was in my apartment, there was a big fire. So there was 6 months from the period of time when we were teaching in my apartment to when we were teaching in our first storefront location. And I was at this dog daycare, and there was a Duane Reade across the street, and I was on my way to class. I went to the Duane Reade. I saw they had some of these. So I grabbed one to show to the students in my class. I guess I was just using it. I wasn't really even showing it. Filled it up with peanut butter, which is great for use in these kinds of things. You always want to make sure you get one without xylitol. I find the kind of Skippy or Jif creamy peanut butters actually tend to do a little bit better in these tubes than the more natural ones, which can sometimes separate. Anyway, I grabbed one, filled it up, was using it in class, and everyone in this class which was at the daycare across the street from the Duane Reade, was like, "Oh my God, what is that? Where did you get that?" And I said, "Oh, they sell it for salad dressing. I got it across the street at the Duane Reade." This was before we had our own shop. And I went back after class ended. I cleaned up, an hour later. left this dog daycare, went across the street to the Duane Reade to get something else, and noticed that they were totally cleared out of these salad dressing containers. Everyone in the class had gone to buy one. And I bet they all used them and got good use out of them. Anyway, you can fill it with cream cheese. You could put liverwurst in it. You could put what else have I put in it? Like spray cheese. And you can make your own mixture. You don't want something too viscous in this kind of thing. You kind of want something like that peanut butter-y consistency. If you want to use a liquid treat dispenser with something a little bit more, thick, you can get like a camping tube. They sell them on Amazon. They're like big tubes that are open at the top that you can then kind of like roll. They come with like a thing so you can like roll down the top to seal the top. And those are good if you're going to use something like actual like canned dog food. Traditional travel shampoo container that has a suction cup on it. I don't love that one as much just because it does have those sort of like petal things that come out of the top opening that can make that little burst of air, which I don't love. But it is kind of cool because it has a suction cup on it, so it can be a little bit hands-free if you need to suction it to the fridge or something, let your dog lick out of it while you're brushing your dog, or that kind of thing. You can also use baby food pouches. For my 2-year-old, she still gets quite a few meals a week out of the little tubes that they sell for little kids, baby foods. Some of them are meat-based, or some of them are fruit-based. Most of them have ingredients that are really fine for dogs. And actually, she used to really enjoy sharing her baby food pouches with my old dog, Amos. So that's also an option. As are bark pouches, which are shaped pretty much just like those baby food pouches, but they are made specifically for dogs. They're made by a woman whose name is kind of hilariously Brandy Barker, a dog trainer in Chicago. And she makes these very popular bark pouches. We do sell them, and she actually has recently formulated them so that they are shelf stable. They used to have to be put in the refrigerator or freezer. I guess they still have to be refrigerated after you open them. But another very popular option. Just a couple more lickable treats I wanted to show you. West Paw, fabulous company based out of Montana. We sell a lot of their products. They make the Topple, which is kind of like a Kong alternative of which I'm a big fan. They recently released 2 flavors of treats that come in tubes. One is peanut butter and banana, but the one that I actually like better for use with dogs is made from beef, liver, and pumpkin. I don't dislike the peanut butter and banana one, but I'm just fine giving regular peanut butter to dogs. And I find that their peanut butter and banana tends to separate a little bit in the tube. So you get this like squirt of oily stuff when you first use it. Whereas the beef, liver, and pumpkin, which is also gluten and grain-free, does not tend to separate. I think these were designed to squeeze into one of their toys. Like on the back of it, I'm looking at it right now, there's actually a picture of a Topple, and it shows how you can squeeze this into the Topple, and I have certainly done that. However, you can also just let your dog lick the end of this little tube that's like a metal tube, kind of looks like a metal toothpaste tube, and it's a great thing. What does it say on the back? It says, made with beef liver and pumpkin with a boost of beef bone broth and cinnamon in a mess-free dispenser. Serve right off a spoon for instant delight, or in a West Paw treat toy mixed with dry kibble with dry treats or kibble. So I use it differently than it says on the tube. I just squeeze it and let the dog lick it right from the opening. When I'm using these kinds of tube treats, like to do something like a hand touch, I'll usually have, like if I'm doing a hand touch, I kind of make a little dance out of it. I'll have the treat and the clicker in one hand, for me, usually my left hand. My right hand will be the one that the dog is touching, whether they're touching like a target stick or my fingers. I'll hold the tube and my clicker behind my back with my left hand, reach my hand out for the dog to touch. The dog touches it, I click, and then switch hands. So now my left hand comes out, they lick that, and now I switch back again. And that is basically the best dance move I have in my entire dance repertoire. Not a very good dancer, but I can do that move, which I created myself. Similar to the West Paw tube treats, is Callus creamed smoked roe, which is also a dog treat, kind of my own invention. Callus is actually a Swedish delicacy, sold either you can buy it in New York City at IKEA or very fine, like imported food supermarket type stuff, that's supermarket type places, or you can buy it at School for Dogs, where we sell it for consumption by dogs. Now, I was attracted to this stuff for use with dogs because I just thought, there must be. I think I was traveling. Maybe I was in Italy, and they have a lot of like things there in tubes, more than like foods in tubes, more than we tend to have in the U.S. And especially like fishy kinds of things in tubes. We had a lot of clients that were using the bark pouches, but at the time they weren't really shelf stable. Some people were having a hard time getting them. And I thought, there must be other things that come already in tubes that we could give to dogs. So I started to sort of do some research and found Callus creamed smoked roe. And dogs do seem to enjoy it. And like the West Paw treat, it can just be licked out of the tube. It's actually really like pretty much the same exact size and shape. And it's good. I've tried it. It's sort of sweet and salty. Again, it is made for humans. I do suggest going easy on this. It's not meant for dogs. It does contain salt, sugar, both of which dogs shouldn't have a whole lot of. But that's another nice thing about these kinds of lickable treats is your dog's only needs to get like a lick or two. They're not going to like consume the whole tube at once. Really, it would take a while. It should take a while for any of these kinds of tubes to be totally consumed. And the last thing I thought I would mention that I certainly did not know about when I first got my puppy 15, 16 years ago is bone broth. There are lots of bone broths now made just for dogs. I'm not sure what is the difference between human grade bone broth for dogs and bone broth that is sold for humans, to be totally honest, except maybe marketing. But we've been carrying bone broth from Open Farm, a Toronto-based company. Very, very good. They make very good products. Again, human grade. The one that we carry contains turkey bone broth, carrots, pumpkin, parsley, turmeric, and cinnamon. And I've been giving this to Poppy as an ice cube. Been just making ice cubes out of these, and she gets 1 or 2 of them at a time, and it keeps her busy. And it's sort of like just a healthy thing. However, you could also make this into like basically a popsicle, and let your dog lick the popsicle as they during training. I have actually not experimented too much using this for training, but since I've been giving her these ice cubes, it occurred to me that would certainly be another sort of lickable treat that you could use in training that is super healthy and enjoyable by the dogs, and won't break the bank and will not get your hands gross. So those are some of my favorite treats that can be licked. We do carry all of these things in our East Village shop, which is now open every day of the week, 12 to 4. Still limited COVID hours, but more COVID hours than before. And also, of course, at storeforthedogs.com. Yeah, that's about it. All right. Thank you for being here. And if you try any of these with your dogs, if you have some lickable treats that I don't know about, I would love to learn more. So please let me know. As always, you can reach me at Annie@schoolforthedogs.com. All right. Thanks for being here. Bye.